Hey guys, Nolan here. Today we're talking about boarding. In a previous video, which I will link to up there and I'll link to down below for you mobile users, we spoke about how to make money boarding. But in this video, we're going to talk about how to have a successful boarding establishment as a barn owner and things to avoid when you're trying to run your business. Before I start this list, I would just like to thank everybody for subscribing. If you haven't already, the button's right there. You should give it a click. And while you're at that, give it a like too. The first thing we need to think about when we are thinking of a boarding establishment is the main goal. What is the main goal? The main goal that pretty much everybody wants to have a relaxed, stress-free environment. That means no drama. Gossip, drama, all the whispering, it all sucked ass back in high school. Nothing's changed. You as the barn owner cannot control what everybody else says in your barn. But what you can do is control what you say. Don't feed into the drama, don't get involved, don't start whispering behind other people's back, don't feed the troll. So in other words, don't become an old lady at tea time. This leads perfectly into the next segment, which is run your barn like a business. Don't get caught up in the drama, keep your opinions to yourself, don't pick favorites. If person A and person B are getting this much shavings in their boarding contract, then person C doesn't get less or doesn't get any more. Even keel all the way through. If person A and person B are paying extra, that's a different story. But when you talk about this is the basic board, everybody is on the same level. This is especially true if you're dealing with flavor of the month. If you haven't seen my other video, I will link to it up there and down below, which is about what flavor of the month is and how it can affect the whole barn. So if you haven't seen that video, there it is. Give it a check out. Number 3, if you're allowing outside coaches, you shouldn't be getting involved in their training just because you own the farm. So for example, if the boarder is riding in the arena and you're watching it and you don't 100% like what you're seeing, we're not talking about abuse here, we're not talking about, roll curl and all that stuff, we're not talking about that. What we are talking about is,
I believe a horse should be stretchy and they're too pull high.
Or vice versa, whatever it might be, and you go in and say,
I think the horse needs to be stretched out more.
You don't get to say, just because you are the barn owner does not automatically make you a trainer. And that doesn't automatically make you their trainer. Your boarders have trainers. Your boarders have coaches. You're not one of them. Do not get involved with other people's training. Next thing on the list, what are you exactly as the barn owner? You are a problem solver. Everything you do is about problem solving. I need somewhere to board my horse. As a problem solver, you get to say, I have a barn that you can board your horse at. Next problem, my horse is on supplement A, B, and C. You're the problem solver. You get to say, I'll solve your problem. My horse can only go by himself out in the field. You as a problem solver get to say, I can make that happen. This is what I'm saying. It's pretty basic stuff. You're just there to solve your boarder's problems. Nobody wants to hear about you saying, oh, well, that's really tiring and I don't really feel like doing that and blah, blah. Doesn't matter. You are there to be their problem solver. Let's just say the boarder is now asking for something extra, like when he comes in from turnout, I'd really like it if you could take off this blanket and replace it with his back on track blanket. This is your opportunity. You're not going to say, no, I don't want to do that because that's too much work, or I don't have enough time for that, or that's not included in your board. No, you simply say, for an additional fee, you'll take off that blanket and put on the back on track blanket from this time to this time. There you go. There's your opportunity. Here you get to take a problem and actually make a benefit out of it. You can bring the horse in, take off the blanket. Yes, it's a bit more extra work, but guess what? You now get to charge them a bit more money just to say, I'll put on that back on track blanket. That's extra that is not involved in basic day-to-day care in your boarding agreement. Like these tips so far? Hit that like button right down there. The next thing I'd like to bring up when talking about owning your own barn, because this comes up a lot, and for some reason a lot of barn owners think they're the big guns. They're the big guys now, and you'll bow down to me. Okay, a little exaggerated, sure, but you know the saying, which is my barn, my rules. I'm sure everyone's seen that damn sign. Because it's your barn, it doesn't automatically mean you get to micromanage everything. Remember what I said earlier about how you can't control what people think or what people say? All you can do is control what you think and what you say. If you think for 1 second that because you're a barn owner, you get to dictate what they can and can't do, how they do it, and who they talk to, you don't get to do that. Because here's the point. Yes, it is your barn. And yes, there should be rules. Something like, pretty much, treat everyone with respect. Make sure to turn off the lights when they are no longer being used. Barn hours are from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I'm just throwing out numbers here. No horses lunging while lessons going. I'm, once again, throwing out ideas. Those make sense, and you should have rules like that. But as I say, if you are going to go out there and tell every single person, as you're stepping out of the arena, make sure to bang off your feet. Oh, and make sure to put the cooler there. No, you can't do that there. Do not put that coffee mug there. You cannot wear shirts with graphics on them. Do not put garbage in the garbage bin. take the garbage home with you. When it gets to that point where you start nitpicking on every single little thing that the boarder is trying to do, you have a problem. That's called micromanaging. And you're right, it is your barn, it is your rules, but guess what? You start picking constantly, micromanaging every single thing somebody does, it will be your empty barn. Which then leads me into my next piece, which is about your reputation. We've all heard the saying, I'm sure somewhere you've heard the saying, which is if you don't like it, then leave. I get this in some standpoints because yes, there are boarders out there who are always trying to make drama or are never 100% happy with what you're doing. I get that, and that's always going to be on the tip of your tongue because there's going to be a point where you just get completely frustrated with things. And I'm sure this whole, the mentality is there's always going to be somebody who's looking for boarding. There'll always be somebody else at the door. I have been to bars that think like that too. There are how many boarders out there, if I give a good deal or if I give good care or whatever, somebody will be there to come in the door. While it is partly true that, you give good care, people will come, you would hate for your reputation to become, that's the barn, that's revolving door. Every single time one new boarder comes in, there's one going out. Not only is that bad for your reputation, it's horrible because the horse world is too small. Everybody knows everybody. I went into grade 9 and my grade 9 English teacher owned my horse back years and years and years ago. So the horse world is small. You'd hate to start picking on things and becoming that barn that goes, if you don't like it, get out because somebody else will be in the door. Chances are you will run out of those people and your reputation will precede you. So let's dive a bit deeper into boarding, and as an owner, things are going to cost money. Things are going to sometimes dig really deep into your wallet. Everything costs money. Turning on the lights is going to cost money. Having them run for how long will cost money. Electricity is not cheap. So to cover off all bases, you need to make sure you have a good business plan. So let's just say you're charging however much money and you can't cover how many your cost. It's time to then change your business plan. If boarders come in and they're not allowed to use the lights in the barn because it costs you too much money, there's a problem there. You need to look at your business plan because maybe you're not charging enough for boarding if you cannot cover off that cost. It doesn't mean you shoot up the board up $500 in 1 month. What it means is maybe you need to add on $20 so that your 15 boarders, say, can rack you up some money to cover off that money that needs to be paid off for the electricity. No boarder wants to hear, oh, you can't do this because it costs me too much money. The boarders need to be able to use that, so they need to pay for that. Next on the list, which is I think number 8, and we were kind of like flying through these, be upfront with what you're capable of doing. Don't know how to do an IM or an IV? Don't offer to do my poly shot then. If you agree to do something, follow it through. And if you can't do it, say so at the beginning. Because nobody likes being told yes, only to realize that it's never getting done. Next thing, relay information to your staff if you have them. Horse no longer on hay cubes? Tell them. Horse no longer go in group turnout? Tell them. Horse on stall rest? Yeah, you should definitely tell them. With horses and boarding, communication is key, especially when you have staff involved. Because it's really annoying as a boarder where I told you as the barn owner that my horse has had a feed change and then coming in the next day and the staff has no clue what you're talking about. And this same thing, this communication, goes for the boarders. It is your job as the barn owner to make sure the information gets relayed to its sources. You as the barn owner need to make sure the information is relayed to the boarders so that nobody's caught with their pants down. Like, let's just say, in the heart of COVID, all boarders need to wear a mask when they enter the barn. You have to make sure that every single boarder knows that you tell each one individually to make sure the information gets pushed down the line. No telling 1 or 2 people and hoping the game of broken telephone is going to do its job. And a last piece of advice for barn owners is something that they should keep in the back of their mind. You are not the boss. Unfortunately, it's true. You're not the boss. And you don't have just one boss. You have many bosses. These are your customers. These are your clients. That's not to say that the boarders rule the roost and that whatever they say goes because they're the boss. No. But they are customers and they should be treated as such. And that is the list of things I would suggest to new barn owners and people who want to do a boarding facility. If you can treat it more like a business, you are well on your way. As I say, if you can keep that list that I just spoke about at the forefront, you'll have a much better, successful time. You are on top of yourself as the barn owner. You're not going to fall victim to a lot of the mistakes that a lot of new barn owners who want to do boarding fall into. So what do you think? Do you think I'm off my rockers? Possibly. Let me know in the comments down below. Or maybe you have a story of what are a lot more of the problems that barn owners fall victim to. If you haven't yet followed me on Instagram or Twitter, or if you haven't friended me on Facebook, the links are down below, you know what to do. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And while you're at that, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I have new videos up every week to help you through this horse world and just to give some quick tips, especially for beginners stepping into this sport. Dressage for amateurs, that's our tagline. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Ciao.